What is a super popular TV show or movie that you can't stand? When I was applying for grad school programs, I briefly got hooked on it. As part of the interview process, you have to be on your game 100% of the time, beaming how smart you are and all your academic accomplishments at other very smart people. After every interview, I was just so sick of being smart and wanted to empty out my brain with a piece of idiocy. The Bachelor was perfect for that. I actually hung out with one of the guys that helps do the storylines for these shows. He said they pick the biggest train wrecks they can find. He said the more childhood drama they have, the better. Just add alcohol and the need for fame and you have a show. And he wondered why I didn't want to go out with him. While I don't defend where it went in later seasons, I found if you approached it not as a high school show but just a drama, it was much better. I had the same problem when I watched the movie Brick with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I thought it would have been so much better if it just was set at high school, because that shit is just so unreasonably dramatic for that setting. I honestly wish nothing was set in high school, but alas, you don't write movies or TV shows. Edit. Just realized my phone auto-corrected the last sentence. I meant I don't write movies. My wife and I really liked the first few seasons and haven't been able to continue. We know it's dumb, but it was at least enjoyable. I think around the time they do that cheerleading routine outside the prison was when it got too dumb for us. To me it's so bad it's good. Spoilers. I mean, what's not to believe about high schoolers being presidents of middle-aged motorcycle gangs, or running their own bar, or busting their own father as a serial killer, or owning a gym for underprivileged kids after being subjected to a juvenile underground fighting to the death ring, or overtaking their mom's brothel, or their mom being undercover in a suicide cult ran by Chad Michael Murray. I mean, sorry, but that is quality shit in my book. I honestly enjoyed the first season. It's cheesy but fun. After that though, it went on a roller coaster ride to so bad it's not even fun to watch. I stayed around a little bit here and there, but that underage striptease to Midworld, holy fuck, I bailed around then. Big Brother. I don't know why, but people love that show in my country, Nigeria, for just going there to enjoy luxury, win prizes and be boring and immature on television. And to make it worse, that show was meant for people that were poor or looking for opportunities to showcase their talents, but instead it is filled with rich grown adults who just want to be verified on Instagram. Really annoys, and every time I always have an alternate ending playing in my head that sucks the darkness out of it. Lol. At the end, after he abandons his principles for money, he gets a call from his porn star girlfriend and they meet up at a fancy party. They see each other and cheer, dancing and drinking champagne. They're living the high lives. He's rich, fuck it, kind of like a take on this ancient Dara comedy sketch with Donald Glover. Reminds me of the magician Shin Lim, who won AGT a few seasons ago. He said that they literally would not let him go on the show without a sob story, so he went with his carpal tunnel syndrome. If anyone likes fiction books that are so damn close to reality you're certain it's just a retelling of people's lives, then check out Van Elton's novel Heartthrob. Since reading it as a teen, I've never been able to stomach talent TV shows since. Nah, don't group Masked Singer in with them. The others are both sob stories for people instead of talent. Masked Singer is like if you go to a football game and the mascot sings and it's fucking T-Pain under there. Bachelor in Paradise, however, is a brilliant formula for a total shit show. Let's get a bunch of stereotypically attractive people who have had their hearts broken on national TV together on a beach, get them drunk, manufacture perfect setups for dating and promiscuity, then film it. Literally any reality show, even things that I might be moderately interested in, have the stupid drama injected in where I'm supposed to care about these people's problems. Like, damn, just drive the truck on the ice road and stop complaining. I feel same as up, but then I saw Blown Away on Netflix. It was great because there was zero drama and instead a focus on the artists' camaraderie and admiration for each other's craft. I watched S1 and it was a lot of fun and very uplifting. We later found out it was a Canadian production, so I guess that explains a lot lol. I feel like British reality avoids the drama more than US shows. Gordon Ramsay is a different person depending on which country made the show. If the US ever did GBBO, there would be dramatic music and that pre-commercial cliffhangers. It would be unwatchable. Anything on Bravo, my mom likes it, but it's just a bunch of rich wives that somehow always hates each other and have to solve it like children. I get the point of reality shows are supposed to be around drama like this, but there's a line between drama and straight up outrageous and stupid. The only show I like on there is Married to Medicine, because it shows women who are actually smart and make their own money. Yes, there is drama, but I'm guessing since they didn't always rely on their husbands to pay their way out of it, they handle it like adults and move on. I know my father likes to watch it because many of the stars are from his time or around it. I think it's stupid because here you have some old football player, and here you have a professional fucking singer. Isn't the point for people to be surprised they can sing well? The judging is stupid. They know who they are. Funny enough, the actress was just in the news like yesterday because she's apparently a rancid diva that's even worse than the character Rachel Berry. Anyway, so little backstory first for those not in the know. On the show Glee, Rachel eventually moved to NYC and gets the lead in Funny Girl opening on Broadway. Funny Girl originally starred Barbra Streisand, and Babs was an idol not only of the character Rachel Berry but her real-life actress, Lea Michele. So after Glee, Ryan Murphy, the showrunner of Glee, he actually buys the rights to Funny Girl so that he can stage a Broadway production and let Miss Lea Michele star in it in real life just like Rachel Berry did on the show. It stalled and someone else got the rights from Murphy, but the show was still trying to get produced and Lee was always the top contender for landing the lead role when it eventually got made. Then a year or two ago, all kinds of bad stories came out about her. There were always rumors, but now her co-stars were putting her bad antics out there and backing each other up. Still, though, it seemed like she was destined for starring on Broadway in Funny Girl when it finally got made. Then yesterday it was announced Funny Girl was finally being made and Beanie Feldstein, and not Lea Michele, was cast as the lead. Enjoy the schadenfreude. When BBT first came out, I was super geeky. Fresh out of high school and used to being bullied for my interests, I was excited at this TV show being advertised as being about geeks, for geeks and celebrating geek culture. Then I watched it. The same tired tropes and stereotypes I was bullied for through school were the entire show. Sure, the main cast were geeks. The show was about them, but the comedy was explicitly at their expense. Look at the losers who can't talk to women. Look at the creeps and their lame interests and hobbies. Look at the asshole know-it-all-I-am verism art poster. Look at them and laugh. As someone with a degree in physics, I hate this show with a passion. All it does is make fun of smart people while pretending it's laughing along with them. Thank God this show finally ended. Maybe now I won't immediately be compared to Sheldon whenever I tell people what I went to university for. We aren't different people. We're normal. We can talk to strangers. We might go to Comic-Con and dress up and cosplay. We might not. This show was hell-bent on painting us like some socially awkward comic book reading incels, and people immediately assume that's what I'm like because of it. It's funny sometimes, but not for the reason my family loves it. One of my favorite lines is when Sheldon refers to Euclid as the inventor of the geometric proof. Like, yeah, a guy with like 2 PhDs he got at the age of 14, Euclid did invent the geometric proof. That was definitely his most significant accomplishment, question mark. Another great is that time the three physics PhDs had the Maxwell equations written out on a whiteboard in the background, like they had to remember what they were or something. The writers know nothing about what they think they're writing jokes about, but pretend they do anyways. It's definitely not well written at all. I mean, look at Frasier. The jokes are about the character's intelligence, but audience can understand the low and highbrow comedy given the delivery and punchline. The Big Bang Theory is just a horrible sitcom about reinforcing stereotypes. If you find a clip with the laugh track removed, then it really highlights just how mean they all are to each other constantly. I know it's intentionally written around the laugh track so there are extra awkward pauses like this. But even ignoring that, most of the jokes are just "hey you suck" and the rest of the room agrees with me. Hey fellow CO, I work in New York. I haven't worked days in a while, midnighter, but when I did the inmates would go nuts for DBZ. Every weekend the dorm would tune both TVs into see what felt like 2 hours of Dragon Ball. I loved hanging out at my desk watching them get all hyped during the Cell tournament. I used to talk anime with most of them. I still see lots of manga floating around the dorm. I see them reading it before we turn the cell lights out at 1 a.m. Stay safe bud and have fun. I used to be like that, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized the problem is using it as a crutch for real jokes. Basically, if watching the show you forget the laugh track is there, then odds are it is using it in a way that doesn't affect the show too much. I like How I Met Your Mother, obligatory ending sucks ass comment, rest of the show is still pretty funny, and I genuinely don't really notice the laugh track at all. It is a laugh that comes on every few seconds, and then immediately retreats. It is kind of glaring when I remember there is a laugh track, but a few moments later, I have forgotten again. Maybe that's just me though. That is what we had in the 90s, just shows on network TV. Honestly, I thought it was great then and I do now as well. Must see Thursday on NBC with Friends. Seinfeld and Frasier was awesome at the time. Most people posting on here are probably too young to care or not born yet at the time. I don't blame you for not liking it if that is the case. It's not like I look back on 70s TV and think it is so great. I tried really hard to give this a chance, but it was just so much cliched drama I couldn't take it seriously. I then kept watching with my sister as a fun heckling opportunity, but I couldn't even keep that up. It was just so stupid, and so many of my friends, colleagues commented that this show is just like my life. But really, which part? The semi-adopted mixed-race triplet siblings? Is your mom a Mandy Moore type who can't help but insist on singing parts in every project she does? I had never seen any Fast and Furious movie, but the 10th movie was just released. How could a franchise make 10 blockbuster movies and at least have some sort of saving grace? Over the past few weeks, I've sat through nearly 30 hours of awful cinema to try to understand it all, and I still don't get it. Fast and Furious is awful, and anyone who likes it has awful taste in movies. I found it kind of stressful to watch, but as a Central Asian Jew, it's extremely cool to have a major movie feature your community. It does a great job at showing a realistic Pesach Seder and post-Soviet Jewish life. I also love the costume design. I know a lot of people who dressed like or wish they had the money to dress like the characters in 2012, and in the case of a few people, still do. I was, emphasize the was, a Supernatural fan. My limit is the end of season 11. They should have ended there. The rest was milking the show. And the end, season 15, is bad. Way bad. It goes against everything in the show. And now I feel like the actors are lost and still trying to keep the Supernatural family afloat, but it's ridiculous. I still recommend this show though. At least the 5 first seasons are brilliant. All they do is peddle fear porn and multi-billion-dollar multinational corporatist propaganda. Every bit of their political nonsense has one goal, which is to dupe people who are predisposed to fear and anxiety out of their money and power, into the hands of giant multinational corporations. The irony of the right-wing phase take our country back as they are giving it away to billionaires. Pretty much everything since Trump became president, movies, TV shows, music, news, sports, everything in the US spiraled out of control. Almost zero foreign news. Nothing mattered except evil Trump and his family. I am actively witnessing the fall of a once great nation. It actually scares me, and it's out of control. Just watch the downvotes my post gets. I'll take a knee myself in remembrance of all of our fallen brethren who died fighting for our freedoms and standing tall for equality for all. What we are witnessing now is far from what was envisioned by our forefathers. Yup, although one episode where I genuinely empathized with Jerry and hated the world he lived in, was a Kiss Hello episode. I'm sure there are clips on YouTube of the scene showing how the people in Jerry's building reacted after he very politely and rationally explained how he didn't want to be kissed as part of his greeting. The way they treated him after that shows they were all absolute scum. It's amazing that the show was able to touch on how American society acts towards those who don't want to be a part of their sacred norms. 90 Day Fiancé. I liked it at first, but now it's just filled with whiny, teen-esque drama that make me wonder why they don't just break it off immediately. I get money plays a factor, but for people like the family Chandler and Stacey and Darcy, I can't help but wonder why they'd put themselves out there and be constantly in the line of drama. Any and every herder wear an Alaska show on TV. They all seem incredibly staged. They're filled with people who are either playing a character or must live in rural Alaska because they would be social outcasts in civilization. Every one of those reality shows have some stupid manufactured drama that simultaneously makes the protagonist look like a genius and a fucking idiot. Rick and Morty. It's got nothing to do with the writing or humor or even the reputation, or anything like that. I tried watching it, but there's constantly spit or shit coming out of Rick's mouth, or he's making disgusting noises every time he talks, and it just incites some kind of actual repulsion in me. So it's a show that I actually can't stand, like physically just can't stand to watch. My all-time hated is American Idol and The Apprentice. The former is all about how Simon is so mean. Quite frankly, I find it extremely unprofessional. I don't care how bad you are at a job. A simple "I'm sorry, but thank you for trying out" is all that's needed. These people are not getting paid to try out, wait in long lines on their day off, and have the bravery to allow themselves to be filmed before millions just to have some rich asshole say how horrible they are and personally attack them. I've never understood why so many Americans loved it. It's pointless, cruel, and doesn't even show the audience how to be a better singer. Then I saw The Apprentice, and that was my very first hint something is really wrong with this country. I started watching hoping I'd learn how to run a business. Almost immediately, something felt severely off. You see all these scenes that are supposed to make Trump look like some kind of business god, and I kept waiting to see why am I supposed to think this? All he did was use inherited wealth to buy existing hotels and casinos, and then the contestants do stupid shit like running around trying to sell the most ice cream or whatever and fuck each other over, as long as this doesn't end up causing the team to lose money. And then you stand there in that room that looks like a courtroom as Judge Trump yells "You're fired." Nothing about the show felt like how actual businesses work. And this was the highest rated reality of all time. I mean, it does have to do with business, but it's almost like what you get when you put a funhouse mirror in front of the concept. What you see is all twisted and surreal and changes constantly depending how you look at it. All I knew was this can't be how things actually work. the toxic fans are. It's written clever enough to have some fun details under the surface and meta humor. This leads to what's with inflated egos feeling superior when they either see those details or have them explained and they parrot it. I try to never get involved with any show fandom. It just reveals those that make the show their identity and creeps crawl from the woodwork.